Yeah, thank goodness, the sites that Aaron has on it have not been a direct landfall. Thank goodness, right? Want to take you towards St. Thomas. This is in the U.S. Virgin Islands right now as Hurricane Aaron. It was a powerful Category 5 storm. It has undergone what we call an eye wall replacement cycle that does tend to weaken storms. However, it does broaden out its wind field. Let's get you down to St. Thomas live right now. Let me tell you something. It was a rough evening and continues to be a rough morning. Let's get you right there. Robert Ray out there on the U.S. Virgin Islands. Robert, my goodness, that wind and rain behind you.
Yeah. Guys, good morning to you, Michael, everyone. It is still roaring here this morning on St. Thomas. We basically left off where we ended yesterday evening, and it has not stopped overnight. Consistent winds here and wind gusts over 50 miles an hour clocked here in St. Thomas overnight. And believe it or not, only about 2 inches of rain, but the rain really falling and blowing right now as I speak. The sun coming up and all of this wind-driven rain. Palm trees still getting battered here as the storm is to the northwest track right now. But believe it or not, the British Virgin Islands received up to almost 10 inches of rain in areas, and power outages are spotty all over the U.S. Virgin Islands and in Puerto Rico. But gosh, guys, we look at this video from yesterday, if we can, with the really heavy thunderstorms, lightning, and thunder all over the place last night. It was a show, to say the least, and a lot of those heavy rains at some point and winds as the sun was going down created almost conditions where you really couldn't see very far in the distance. And the mountains here, the terrain, that was one of the biggest concerns here yesterday and still is today about travel, not only for folks that live here in the USVI, but a lot of tourists and moving around. And especially, if anyone woke up this morning thinking, well, the storm has passed. Well, this is that backside, and we're still getting a lot of those outer bands kicking up here across the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico as the storm is making its way for a brush to Turks and Caicos, and then eventually up with impacts into the U.S. mainland. A big issue is going to be travel again here today. Yesterday, cancellations all over. Flights today are very iffy, obviously, because you look at here, conditions behind me, pretty tough to get an airplane in here in these scenarios. So we will see how all of this goes in the hours to come and when the atmosphere may calm down here in St. Thomas. But what a ride it was yesterday to see that rapid intensification. Unbelievable, actually, to think that on Friday it was just a tropical storm and then it ramped up into a Category 5 hurricane, now a Category 3 as it went through some eye wall replacement overnight. I have to tell you, when I walked out here this morning and we were all preparing, I said to myself, wow, I can't believe it. We are still roaring here in St. Thomas. And what we just got with the bands and the rain, really intense stuff. Unbelievable, this storm. And we are nowhere near the end. This book is not written, not even close, on Hurricane Aaron's path, track, and impacts. Everybody keep watching and monitoring Fox Weather as it moves up and makes that shoot between Bermuda and the U.S. Big impacts coming on the U.S. mainland. Back to you.
Yeah, hey, Robert, just curious. Obviously, there's a lot of boaters and a lot of mariners on St. Thomas. How are the boats holding on and mooring and hanging tight?
Well, I can tell you, from where our perspective is, we don't see any boats out there. I think a lot of folks did bring them in. We saw some of the ferries that go from St. Thomas to St. John yesterday before the sun went down and before it got really heavy with these outer bands. But I have to think if anyone left their boats out there tied up, that they may walk out to potential issues, especially with this backside and the wind gusts coming in again this morning. It is quite intense. I wouldn't be surprised if we are seeing wind gusts in the 40, maybe even hitting 50 yet again, like we saw overnight right now.
You know, and that totally makes sense too, Robert, because I was just doing a back of the envelope calculation, and the center of Aaron is about 230 miles northwest of where you are. 230 miles. And then the National Hurricane Center is saying that the tropical storm force wind field actually extends about 200, 210 miles from where you're at. So it's not surprising that you're actually seeing tropical storm force winds. But, man, nice that you still had power, though, because, boy, those winds can knock down many trees, many power lines in the whole 9 yards. Robert, we'll check back in with you in the next half an hour-ish or so. Thank you for that live report. We appreciate that.